welcome everybody. Oh, here comes Miss Henton. Wait just 1 second. Just sign the book. All right, I did not bring an updated budget for the courthouse project, today, since Aaron was not gonna be able to be with us. I did, attend the owner architect contractor meeting this morning over here at the Blyville Courthouse. A couple of things that we have talked about in the past that have been, kind of resolved. So, I know most of you were aware that the elevator, where the elevator was being stored, was hit by a tornado. So they were worried that that was really going to delay the project. It turns out that the cab itself has not been, damaged. There was just minor damage to it. They feel like so they're gonna be able to ship the 3 elevators. They feel like they will be here in about 2 weeks, and it will take about 6 to 8 weeks to install them. So.
On time frame then, 2 weeks to get here puts it mid-July. 8 weeks would put it mid-September before they could even think about being functional.
Yes, that is true.
Maybe by the 1st of September if they got it done in 6 weeks, but so it's gonna be 1st to the 15th of September before we can plan on elevators. And then some of the other contractors weren't expecting to be able to work until we had the elevators functional.
That's correct. And so we were also told today that normally they will not make the elevators functional until about 90% of the project is complete. But they are discussing, unless you have an operator, like just one person that just stands there and pushes the button, and they are discussing hiring a person to do that so that they'll be able to move a little bit faster through that.
At that, they would probably only make one of them functional.
Right, yeah. One of the things that we talked at length about was really the schedule of the project. You know, when are we looking at? As I was leaving, I kind of made a joke, and I said, well, I'm gonna tell them November, and the contractor, the foreman said, Casey said, no, we are gonna do our punch list in October. So he is still convinced that we're gonna get to the punch list in October. I went through the building today, a lot of work has been done, it does look great, but there's a lot of work still left to do. So, that's really the only thing going on over there. There were 2 change orders, one for the Blyville project. It was actually a credit this month of $6,326.79. So really that was the only change that we would see to the budget. There were no other change orders for the Blyville project, and so very little has changed there. Justice Ash has some information about the metal detector and x-ray machine. I think you talked with the sheriff about it.
Yes, they have gotten specs in on it, came in a little bit over budget, but I'm trying to remember, our budget line says x-ray machine. I don't remember if there is another line item for metal detector. But Homeland Security gave them a quote for the total package, and it was like, with taxes and all, let me find where they sent it to me. They sent the data sheet to me also on the, and I didn't send this out, I'm sorry, I can do that right now if you want it. But basically, this is what the machine will look like. It is not a big machine.
Okay.
That's the x-ray machine?
That's the x-ray machine. These rollers that you set your bags on to roll in are actually a separate item. So you have to have 2 of them, one to enter and one to exit. The metal detector is a separate item. They've got included in the bid delivery, setup, and training. And it comes out to right at $55,000. I'm gonna go back here now. That was the data sheet on it. Rob sent me the exact bid, right here it is.
So they're not doing a walkthrough x-ray like at the airport?
They are doing a walk-through metal detector, which is large enough to accommodate a wheelchair. The total price is $55,724.82. That's sales tax, delivered, set up, $55,724.82. And I'll forward this to everybody so y'all can look at it. But basically, that's a Gray Garrett PD 6500132.5 ADA compliant metal detector. 733870. The X-ray baggage inspection system is $37,995. So it came in 2,000 over just on that. The 0.5 meter entry roller is $798, or that was for two of them. And then the labor for installation of equipment is a total of $39.78. So it all totals out to $55,724.82, and I'll try to remember to forward that. They had a lot of trouble getting that quote from the company. I don't know exactly why, but apparently when he did get it, it was showing that it was being sent to Wayne Reynolds, so it may have been going to Wayne, and I don't know if he knew what he was getting or not. But they looked it over, they think it'll work fine. This has to have 110 volt, 20 amp dedicated circuit, which is already there in the floor for it to mount into. And I don't know where they're gonna put the walk-through metal detector, but I'm sure it'll be right there in that area also. So that everyone going in the courthouse will walk through it.
So while you're talking, I did look at the, budget dated 5/11, and line 58 says metal detector and x-ray, so those would be combined, and currently we have $35,000 budgeted in that line, so it will be, a little bit more than that.
There'll probably be a change order coming through.
Yeah. So I did, mention that to Aaron today, to get with Morgan or you, that you had some information
Well,
about
Rob
it.
Reynoldsville got me this.
Okay.
Sheriff is out of town today, he'll be back tomorrow night, but he also sent me the quote once they got it. Rob sent it over to him, he sent it to me, Rob sent it to me, so.
Okay, so, looking at it, I'm not gonna ask that we do any appropriation today, or recommend a further appropriation. We'll do that at the next meeting, because, CNI sends in their monthly bills around the 1st, and we have until the 10th to pay them, so we'll need to see how much this one is. We still currently, after last month's bills, have, over $700,000 appropriated, so we should be fine with anything that's gonna come up before the next meeting, so.
And you were just talking just about Blyville, weren't you?
Yes, just about Blyville,
Okay.
just about Blyville. Any questions,
We still have plenty of money left in the contingency to cover that 20,000. right there,
Yes,
so we-
currently there is still, yes, like I said, there will be a little bit added just because of the credit this month, that was the 6,000. But yeah, we still have the, 158, in the contingency, and then still over 200 left in undesignated funds. $284,872
Great.
still left, so.
Just one question, just as asked, you mentioned those two rollers, were they included in that price of that
The total
55?
price, yes.
Okay,
It's just all broke down, and like I
Yeah,
said,
I
I will
just-
send it out.
okay,
I just have to go through and pick
Okay.
each one of you and send it to you. But, that is a total all-inclusive price, set up and working, and that,
Okay.
what we do is basically place the order pretty soon. And then when they get, it's probably gonna be one of those things that 90 to 95% complete, they'll bring it set.
Let's see, so, yeah, that pretty much takes care of everything in Blyville, I think. There was one other thing I was gonna do, that may come back to me. Okay, we'll move on to the Osceola update. Mr. Hartman is here and he'd, like to discuss a couple of things. But, before we do that, there was one item that did come in the change orders that I do wanna bring to your attention. And so, originally, we were to, to honor our commitment, the Osceola project, had a minimum of $2 million, and that was always fully appropriated. Since then, we have appropriated the interest, which was, a little over $45,000 to the project, and then we additionally, appropriated an additional, what did we say that was, Kelly?
It was it's 308, I don't know the exact amount. 308 something.
So we appropriated an additional $308,000, and that was to do the windows and also to take care of the birds.
It was appropriated, yes, but we didn't actually do an extra one, it was in the budget.
Right, it was in the,
Okay.
so that is the money that we have approved one way or another for the Osceola project. There was a change order that has been signed by the architect and the judge for, additional work up to not exceed $50,000 that would, it's basically for some brickwork, remove the damaged bad bricks, remove any loose mortar, fill in the mortar, remove debris, replace first course of brick with new brick, clean up. So, but that money is not, I mean,
They don't have any money.
I don't have any money.
I thought that's what was the project that Aaron said that we should use the interest money on. Isn't that what he was talking about when we were talking about reallocating that 45,000 or whatever it was?
Let's get, Kelly, I'm hoping you have this. Do you have the exact amount that we have spent in Osceola to date, or that is appropriated for Osceola to date?
Currently, what is appropriate is $217,857.03.
Over and
What's
above the
remaining?
2 million? Or?
No, that's just what's remaining out of the 2 million plus the 308,000. And we haven't actually formally appropriated the interest yet. But so that's a little bit, it's like 44,151.73.
So we've got 2,308,000 appropriated towards the Osceola project right now, that's all dedicated.
Yes.
Yes.
So basically, we've got the $45,000 in interest that has never been dedicated.
Right, and when we talked about that at a
And I'm
meeting, and
just trying to
Aaron
make
gave
sure
us a
it's clear.
project that he thought that he could do, I thought roughly with that amount. That he thought was the next thing that we needed to do because we were talking about the water and some of the damage inside the courthouse, and he said that this brickwork is what we would need to do, the next thing we would need to do to help
Okay.
that. If
Okay.
I understand correctly, and that's what we were thinking that we would use that interest money for, is that project.
Okay.
Now, I'm not on this committee, but I believe that was the way that I understood it.
Well, I'm hopeful that maybe that is the case. I'm under the impression that they're out of money, but I'm gonna get with Kelly and we're gonna double check that and make sure. One thing that, again, I would like to just point out, we are getting very close to the, completion. Where we're within, hopefully, the next 6 to 8 months, we'll be finished with the Blyville, project. And personally, I would like to see anything left over moved to the to the repairs in Osceola. However, I do feel like we have given the minimum of the 2 million and wanna make sure that we have enough money left to have any, in case anything pops up.
Right.
So I feel like it's important for us to discuss, that one point, that every month we are seeing additional expenses of some sort. and just like this month, there was additional expenses. You know, to think that we only have, you know, a little over $300,000 to get us to the end of this project, I would like to see us hold on to that money as much as we possibly can.
The finishing is where things start popping up that you don't know that you're gonna have to do.
Well, my recommendation would be that we don't do anything with this change order today. Let's get, you and Kelly get together and figure out if that 43,000 is still sitting there for the interest rate, the
Right.
interest money. Then at the next meeting, we can look to move that over
Well, and
and
what-
allow them. But we're still gonna be $7,000 short.
Well, yes, if they use the whole 50,000, we will be short. And if that meant, for some reason, we may not have appropriated it, but I feel like it's committed somewhere. So we're gonna double check those, but I did want to make you aware of this change order, today, so that you can kind of be thinking about it and thinking about, you know, just moving forward. Typically, we would appropriate the money before the change orders are signed, but we're kinda going at it a little differently this go around, so, all right. Other than that, that's really the only update. I know there's, Mr. Harshman, if you'd like to discuss, or comment on your concerns for, about the dome, we'll certainly listen to that.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate you people letting me come up here and talk with you. My office is right across the street from the dome. And, we've seen work done on the dome, and we've seen them quit. And actually, the windows you're talking about, they put plywood on some time back, and they hadn't been back. I don't know if they have no order windows or what, but, there's no work been done that I've noticed in the past month to speak of. But I'd like to borrow Betty's list here. Some of you probably already read your papers and seen where I put some things in the Osceola paper and also the Bible paper. The courthouses, how it was before they started, how it was when they finished. It doesn't look as dark now. It's not this dark, but it's still streaks in it. In fact, I talked with the judge right after they first started, on it, about the, why were we taking the copper off in the first place, you know? We had leaks. You know, if I have leaks on something, I try to fix it. But they may have went ahead and put some wood in. I didn't see that part where they had to put wood in. But if they had to put some wood in, they would have invoices showing what they bought. But if they just put the copper on, the judge had the architect come to my office and swore to me that I had heard from my secretary. She asked one of the workers, I think maybe the superintendent on the job there, where's the copper? It's been sent off to be washed. Well, that's been in my mind ever since I heard that. So I've questioned as to whether the copper, same copper is being put right back on or not. They say it's not. In fact, I asked, Mr. Maloney, the judge also had a meeting set up with me and Mr. Maloney at a Chamber of Commerce meeting. I don't know why, you know, but we invaded the chamber meeting. And after the meeting was over, well, he and I talked, and some of the people in the chamber were still there and listening to what was being said. And I told him, I said, now some of the copper is already discolored before they can put it up. No, you're mistaken. It's all new copper, it's all new copper. Well, I know what's see. So that puts question in my mind as to whether he's truthful or not. But Betty and I went out, the judge said the copper's in a container at the county. It's in a container. Betty and I went out to look at it, to check it, And, the copper in that container was stacked all the way to the top. You open the doors and it's all the way to the top. Well, that's more suspicion for me. Why didn't they put it on up in the trailer and stack it right in the top? Well, I've got pictures where, later on, Betty didn't get to go, but I carried 2 workers with me. And we went out and took all of the copper out. This is what was to be, part of it. This was the bands that went up on the dome. And he did make those, he had to make those. But they were discolored also, they didn't look like new copper. But anyway, after pulling it all out, this was the flat copper that was in the trailer, which is not near enough flat copper. When we put it back in, it took about 3 hours to unload it and put it back in. We flattened the copper up, and this is what it looks like. This right here on the very back end. The flat copper I could put in the back of my pickup truck with no trouble. What I'd like for him to explain is where is the flat copper. This is not all the flat copper that come off that courthouse. Did you put some back on? Did you sell some? Was some of it stolen? Now, some of it was stolen. Betty and I's already seen some on pickup truck, small pieces. That a guy that works at the courthouse, he's got on his pickup truck, he's got several small pieces on, but on the tailgate, he's got a round lock on his tailgate with his tailgate locked up. So, it makes me wonder, why has he got that big lock on that tailgate? Has he got some copper in that truck? You know, I don't know, the sheriff department needs to question him and see where, if he bought the copper, or if it's some from the courthouse or whatever.
If you don't mind me interrupting, it is from the dome, but the supervisor on site gave them that copper. Gave it to him and 2 other guys that were out there. So,
Okay.
you know, and I said to him, well, I don't think that guy had the right to give you that copper because it didn't belong to him to start with. And he said, I don't know. He said, we asked, could we have some? And he said, sure. And he gave it to us. So.
Well, I appreciate you telling me that, cause I didn't know what was stolen, but the superintendent gave it to him, just like the superintendent told my secretary, the copper's being sent off to be washed. But, what I'd like to know is where is the flat copper? It's not in the container, it's never been put in the container. Because you couldn't have got it out, if it been put in, you couldn't get it out for all this other copper being stacked up 8 foot high in that container. But, that's, just part of what I had. He told me in the chamber meeting that I was mistaken, that it wasn't discolored when it was put up, but I knew it was. But, this is some of it that was put up, just right after. Alright, now, you've got a guy working in the courthouse that's got a drone that takes pictures. Wayne, what's his last name?
Reynolds.
Okay. Let me show you this picture here. You see that shiny piece right in the middle? That's new copper. That shiny piece in the middle. Why is it not discolored like the rest of it? This is a picture that, Wayne took on a bright sunny day. All at this picture, what are those white streaks going down from the top? Is that caulking?
I think that might be just
Huh?
a glare.
You talking about these white streaks?
No, this white streaks, is that caulking?
No, sir, that's where they soldered it, because in the description, it says that they soldered it. And I was trying to find the file you sent me on Google Docs,
Yeah, that's.
If
because
it's
it
soldered,
shows the solder joints in
yeah,
there.
that's what it's supposed to
But
be.
most of them by the time they took pictures, they turned black. I don't know when this was taken.
This was taken
Right after they put that up there.
11th of June.
And that, I know that we got the cupola
Well,
back not too long ago, so that may have been when they had just soldered it. I
Is
don't
it
know.
running down?
Well, those I don't know why they're there.
Do you know where they put it, Fleeman?
Hmm?
Do you know where
I
they put it?
understand it was on the ground behind the container.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Here's more,
It was just thrown out
more
there.
pictures.
Yeah.
And it's running down on the rest of the roof.
Right, okay, so here is a better picture, so like an up-close picture, so you can see it's where they soldered it. See,
Well,
right,
sort of ought to be a copper look,
see, so, but you see that right there?
yeah,
Yeah.
but it should look like copper. It
Right.
shouldn't be white.
Well, it's silver, I mean, it's a silvery color. Let me show you the, and I can send you the link to these, so that you can take a look at all the pictures if you want to. So
I
you
can-
see there, so you see, so this was after they put on, you know, and this is the installation of it, and you can see as they're putting it on.
Do they have a machine, putting the soda in the copper? Metal?
I have absolutely no idea how they put it on
Well,
there.
That's why.
I carried it down to, machinist there in Osceola,
But
and he said it wasn't seen like it's supposed to be seen. I have no idea. He said you had to have a special machine to weld this copper.
Right.
It has to be a special machine.
Well, okay, so just to address just a couple of your points, you mentioned the deck repair, and yes, so once they started looking under, you know, once they started investigating, they realized that there had been a fire at some point in the, and had damaged a lot of the decking. And you remember when Aaron brought the pieces to show us, and so they did repair the decking, or is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Okay. They did repair that, so that was part of the expense. There is a picture of I'm sorry, it's not in color, there is a bigger picture here of where the,
Is this caulking?
no, that's just curves, it's just a curved piece, I imagine I can find that one, hang on just 1 second.
I found those pictures in that Google Drive. If it'll load in here, I'll, be able to show some of those pictures.
So here is, let's see here, so there was the new scroll that they used, the old scroll for the,
Yeah.
and there's
But
the.
it's already discolored.
Yeah, right.
It's
Well,
not, it's not new copper.
Now, I tell you, I don't, and then there's the picture of them unwrapping the new copper.
Okay.
So, and then here is the new or the new cupola up there. And I'm not you know, I certainly am no expert on much. I did do a science fair project one time on copper.
Well, I don't know much
Listen,
about.
but I will tell you, so if you, and I'm sorry it's not any bigger, there are, see, those are handprints. I mean, you can see it was shiny at one time. I don't know that we can really control the rate it oxidizes.
There's a lot, I don't know, I asked Wayne why it was
I think I've seen that.
bent in a lot of places. And he said it could have been their scaffolding that they laying against it. But I don't know, it just looks to me like talking, and I'm wondering, you know, if it's, you wanna say it's, looks like it's.
Did I screw it up too? I don't have to.
What I was gonna try to pull up and show you, we have got, you know, it was solid. They sent us Google Docs, Google pictures from, I can get this one over here very much faster. See if I can get it open.
So,
Okay.
in this drive that I'll send you to link, and you can open it, and I'll just forward this to you, if you'll give me your, email address. So-
It's Horseman Reynolds. And Yahoo.com.
This was all of the historic.
So, what he did is, so Aaron, the architect on the project, he took pictures from the time that he did his very first site visit, to the bid process, to the pictures of the decking, and they're all in this link. And so, I just urge you to take a look at those.
I will be glad to.
You know,
It's just, it just raises a bunch of questions.
I will be
In my
on
mind,
it.
I would like for you to get a weight, what this flat copper's supposed to weigh, and weigh what copper's in the trailer.
Right.
So
You
it's
know, I
right on the
certainly.
very, it's right on the very back of the
Right here,
trailer.
decking pictures, where they were up there, and that's, Mr. Carson, that's basically what we've asked the judge to do. We have asked him to get a weight on that copper.
Mm.
And once we have a weight, go ahead and get rid of it, because if it's disappearing, we don't need to
Well,
lose any more.
it's not disappearing where it's at, it's
But-
locked up, but now, let me say, the contractor brought the copper back, and, he just stood out on the ground in the back, at the back of the town.
So this is the framing on the inside. There was some fires up there, they had to go in and replace some of it.
Okay.
And that was from the inside. There's also some pictures in that Google Drive she's showing you that has these, that has
So the
the
weights are gonna be
pictures of
So
them
basically,
working on the outside. Now, what I have recommended, what we recommended, Judge, get a weight on what we have.
Yes, you're right.
Go ahead and
The
sell it,
purpose
so
of
that
weighing it is so we
we
don't
can
get.
put that money back into the
Oh, yeah,
Osceola
that
court.
way it's
And
an
then-
amount.
Now,
Yeah, but
and
you're
then
right.
they can do a
Different
mathematical
way
equation,
to
they know how much they put up
Because
there.
if this is heavy.
And they know how much they took off,
Basically, you have
we've
to
got
weigh
the weight on what they took off.
what it was.
Figure the difference in the two, and then we may have an idea of how much
So I'm
copper
saying, you
is.
can't unring the bell, I mean, if someone could
They
do it at that
replaced
time, but it's too late to go back and
all of the beams,
confirm it.
just say beams, what you call
And
it.
here's the thing, we don't have,
They
any-
replaced all of
honestly,
them.
we don't have
I
any
don't know
idea
about that.
how
It's
much
just
was
a
given
flat
away by
copper.
the by
And the flat
somebody
copper
who
right
based
on
on
the very
the
back container, won't be
stolen
no
on
problem,
site.
just
I mean,
weigh the
it's
flat
just a,
copper.
Let me
I mean,
tell
there's
you a
no way
little
of
bit about
knowing.
copper,
The
cause
one
I
thing
worked
that
as a
was
police officer for
kind of
25 years.
determined
And
though,
we wore
Would
brass,
you go back?
the, like when the
We
copper
wore
came
brass
off, it was
badge.
scrap. It was no,
If
you
you-
know, it
once
was
you
deemed no
polish
use
that copper,
to the project
if you
after
touched
that.
it,
They
you could
asked,
see your
you
fingerprint
know,
in it the
if
next
we
day.
wanted them to get rid of it.
Copper's the same way.
And the judge
Because
told him
now it's
no,
got
that he
so much
wanted to
zinc
save
in
it, he didn't, at that
Uh,
time, didn't
when we were
really
looking
have a
at these
purpose,
pictures,
but he didn't wanna get
When
rid
I was
of
looking
it.
at these pictures earlier,
So,
there's
that's why it went
actually
into
one
the
of the
container.
dome.
I don't, that
Who
was,
knows how
I
much got
know
lost
all
before
of
they
it
ever
is
asked
zone
that
sound.
question.
Well,
that's right, there's, I mean,
right after they
there's a
cleaned
lot of
up, it was
unknowns
very
there,
shiny,
but,
but they got out there and they took a picture, and in that picture,
but I don't think,
you could see
I don't think it's
every
copious, I don't think it's to
handprint
the
on that
point
where
of
they
that
had
it
put
was
it on.
I don't do it.
grand larceny against the contractors for the county, I don't think there was
Okay,
any big
there's the deck,
conspiracy.
see where we had fire up there?
no, I don't either. And I
they
don't
replaced
think the
that.
amount of copper in that container can be relevant to the new copper that was put on there. I don't, I mean, I think it's all, I think it's all over, I think it's all of what you said. I think some of it was taken, I think some of it was probably lost, I think some of it was, you know, damaged. I mean, it's just, I think it's just,
But here's,
it's all of the above,
here's gonna
probably.
be the project. she sent you those pictures, you can, feel free to look at all of them, and I think you'll see that even on the flat ones, you're gonna start, they'll start out clean, but they've got handprints on them where they put them up there. Now, here's the problem with the copper. Normally, I'm city building inspector, so normally when a roof is replaced, whatever comes off is not of use, so it is disposed of. And usually the company that does the work disposes of it.
And there was a conversation about that.
And the judge elected to have that copper saved. Well, now's where I'm gonna take the monkey off of us, and I'm gonna sit right where it belongs. He is responsible for all property that belongs to the county. So if there's any missing, it is on him. I'm not saying there is, and I'm not saying there not.
Well, I'm
I
not
don't know.
saying, you know, what I'm saying is, the copper, the flat copper on that dome is a whole lot more copper than what's in the container. Because we pulled every piece of the copper out of the container, separated it. Come up a storm while we were doing it, the men got wet putting it back in. We had to get it back in by 3:30 because we're gonna give the key back. But I'm just saying, you know, you can look at, also, this, I don't know what that white is that's running down on the copper. I just thought maybe it was.
I wouldn't try to explain it, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe the contractor can tell you what it is. It looked to me like caulking that was running in, that was my concern, if
Yeah.
it was caulking or not. I know it's supposed to be welded, and the weld should look like copper.
I don't know if they can get it hot enough to melt.
That's when you
That
have
would
the
be, that
special
would be another
machine.
problem.
You have to have a special machine, what little I read on it, it has to heat in that one spot, it can't heat any other, it's got to heat in one spot.
That would be correct, I know that when they weld air conditioning lines, the solder that they use is silver.
That's right, yeah.
And, cause I inspect those every day.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And looking at this, I'm not saying they shouldn't have used something that was copper, I'm gonna say that it looks like they used standard solder. Don't know if that was right or wrong, but I can also tell you that later pictures of it, it's turned black. And it will do that on an air conditioning unit.
This picture of this picture.
Oh, I'm not saying, no, I'm saying like some of these down here, well, they've got welds down here at the bottom. Some of the, that cupola was the last thing they put on.
Can't see those.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say whether copper's there or not, I'm
I know.
gonna tell you.
I won't, you had one
Dealing with
picture
a
down.
company like this, I tend to believe that they put new copper up there, and we have faith in Renaissance that they did what they said they would do. None of the copper was taken down, washed, and put back up, because instead of 16-ounce copper, we put 20-ounce copper back on the roof.
All right, here's some, this has just been done, this new copper.
Yes, sir, that was an add-on, because what we did, this is a part of the drain system for the
Yeah.
roof, and we just authorized them in a change order.
That was a change order, right?
To come in and put this
But
in.
it looks like caulking to me, you know, you might get him to explain it, maybe something else, but what my question is, if we decided to wash, which that's what I'm gonna be pushing for, is to wash the top. When, Michael, when did you say it was washed last time, in 91?
Actually, it was completely redone and refurbished. We put new copper on it in 91, yeah.
I didn't know you put new copper, I knew you.
Well, I thought we put new copper on it. I mean, we had it shining.
Wasn't it sealed?
Yeah, resealed.
Sealed.
Uh-huh.
So Aaron had said at one, that he felt like the seal may have.
And air quality would have been different in 91 than it is now too.
Most definitely.
Big difference in the air quality, that has a lot to do with the oxygen.
Your air quality, the electrical generated plumb point, as well as Big River Steel, have both went in since 91.
Right.
Now, Nucor Yamato opened basically in 90, and then Newport Hickman opened around 93,
Well,
so.
ask him why this is white.
Okay.
That's one of my problems, if it's caulking or if it's welded, what they weld with or whatever, you know.
I just said that was solder.
I think
If
it
you
is.
look at the other pictures, it is.
Sometimes it's hard to tell that in a picture between the sun and then the glare of a
Yeah,
camera.
And I do think that, I mean, I don't know how easily accessible it is, but I do, I know that they've mentioned they'll be more than happy to take you up there.
Is the scaffolding still up? I thought
Forget
it
that. I won't even get on the roof no more, I got some roofers up, telephone ringing a while ago.
Is that what,
they
is
still
that
plan
tell
on doing
people
some work
nowadays? The older I get, older it is to the ground, the harder it is when I get there.
I spent 1 month in the hospital with COVID, October, November, and my legs are not what they used to be.
Yeah, there's a little cubby hole you get up there.
Did it take a little out of it?
It took, just about took them, it almost took everything.
I think that is going to be solved, but I'll be more than happy to ask them. Because they should have soldered each one of these.
That's what.
And the thing of it is, go first United Methodist Church, we got copper. We put up a new one, 6 months, we couldn't tell which part was new and which part was old. So,
Well,
you know,
my
the thing
problem-
of it is the solder will do the same thing, but
My biggest problem is so many different,
nowadays than they were years ago. I mean, I'm not a
well,
builder,
I,
I know that.
I can see it right here, there's different colors in it, and I can't explain that. I would bet you that's a handprint.
Oh, there are definitely handprints in
Yeah,
some of those pictures.
I would almost bet you that
Yeah, the oil's in your
just
hand.
the fact that they touched it, and that may have been not an area that they didn't touch, it may last longer, I don't know. But,
Their gloves were greasy.
I firmly believe, and I think I speak for most of us here, I firmly believe
everything's fine.
that was new copper that was put up there.
I did.
My only question would be is all the old copper going on?
Right, you know, what happened, and yes, we were the ones that asked for it to be accounted for and sold. Actually, the judge still doesn't wanna sell it. The quorum court was the one who made that resolution to account for it, to inventory it,
And there shouldn't really be any holdup, I mean, we have scales out there, so there shouldn't be really any reason why we can't go ahead and get that done.
We passed it in a resolution, I don't see why it can't
They
move
can
forward.
take it out the landfill. and
Yeah,
buy it.
right, that's what I'm saying, we have access to do that, so I
The
don't know what
thing
the
that
holdup
is, you
is.
have to go weigh a truck, put it on there, go
Weigh
weigh
it
it
empty,
with
yeah.
that, with it, and then weigh it afterwards, to make sure you didn't pick up mud on the tire that changed it away. But yeah, you can do that.
It's in a container, they just gotta pull it up on a
Right.
truck. You got scales there to weigh it. Weigh the truck empty.
Probably is some sort of conversion that they could probably give us to convert the weight of new copper versus the weight of this.
Well, I just pointed this out just a second ago. You see right over there, there's a piece of the old copper sitting on the shelf.
Right.
I mean, that copper's all over the county. I don't care how to,
Let me ask this.
I mean,
Right.
it's everywhere.
While I'm talking, would you consider maybe cleaning?
Well, we can certainly look into how much it would cost. I mean, but here is the only problem with that is how often would you have to clean it? I mean, if
Well,
it's,
you would never have to clean again, cause it would all be the same darkness. It'd be all be clean or it'd all be dark. It'd be the same color. The way it is now, there's several different
That's all
discolorations.
new though, I mean, that's not, it's gonna be the same way either way.
How will
It's
it?
not
It
gonna
won't
change
change
that,
that.
because it's all new copper now, and it's not all discoloring the same way.
It's gonna be that way. It's gonna be, I believe it will be that way, even if we have it clean. One side is gonna be darker than the other based upon the weather, the sun, just the natural
The
environment.
sun has more to do with it than anything.
Yeah,
Right,
it will
right.
be, in the
Elements.
shades, the elements probably will change.
Right.
I don't know, I just
And
remember.
we can look into it,
We'll look
but
into
you have to realize,
I
right
think we did,
now,
didn't we
we're
already look
trying to
into
show,
the
keep it within
60?
budget. Because
And we already
we're
looked, didn't we look
only
into
gonna
it,
be
it's also
78
six figures?
But, we will.
Yeah, but that's probably a little cost of cleaning it, they're not cost of staff, that's not the cost of staff, we need to get somebody up there to do
Get
it.
it clean and then get
We're
it
not through
treated.
with Osceola.
And you said,
We're
we
through
also
with
want to
all
get
this
it
is
treated.
counseling.
Something like
Move
that.
back in, and
Ceramic.
operational, we're not
It's
through
gonna
with
change
Osceola.
anyway it
No, I
goes.
understand.
But we.
It's gonna change,
We've
age
got
is
to
still
get,
gonna age.
we've got to get to the point where we can. And
Anyway,
I wanna say they gave us an estimate of $100,000.
Something is close to
You
that.
need to clean the dome.
That can
You
get up
need to
there and
make sure
clean
you
it,
got everything.
and they said within a year we would have to do it all over again, because they said, once we do it,
But
we're gonna have to continue. But I'm not, I'm not the middle
I
expert.
wouldn't think it had continued because
Just gonna leave that.
it was all the same color before we took it off. I've got pictures of it.
If we're
We
in
will.
this,
Remember.
that's
Now,
right, if we
we're-
were gonna invest
Oh,
another
yeah,
six
Yeah,
figures in
Joe
Osceola
Harris got a
courthouse,
picture
it's
was
like
taken
good.
9 years ago, and it was shiny.
You know?
Or something that'll last for a
Wasn't
long
like
time
it.
as opposed to something that's only gonna last a year.
You say it make her dark, like, I don't.
Well, Mr. Harshman, I truly appreciate you coming
Well,
today.
listen, I appreciate y'all listening to me, and, I would like for the copper, if you can, to be weighed and checked and see if something's missing. I'm saying something's missing, you know, I may be wrong. I've been
We're
wrong.
Yeah,
disagreeing.
I don't think any of
I
don't think anybody
But
disagrees.
disagree
I
with
mean,
you.
I would be more surprised if it was all there
Me too.
than the other way around.
But the question is, how much is it?
And I don't know that we'll ever really know, without
If you
really,
can get the weight that's on the building, how much, well, he says it's better copper on
thicker.
there.
I didn't say it's better, I said
It's
it's
thicker,
it's
heavier.
copper, heavier copper. They use a different process to make copper today. What you had back in 2000, or back in 1900 versus today, is a totally different
It's
copper.
different.
well, but Mike was saying it was put on there in
Different
91.
weight, it was different, people put it on.
No, he
We
said,
redid
what,
the
he, no, he
dome
said
now.
what was going on there was a thicker.
Well,
That's what
he
he said,
Something else you'll look
There's a
at.
little bit of that.
All right,
Thank you very much.
I'm gone, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Harshman.
All right, thank y'all.
That would be if it was point, I think that would be if it was point.
Okay, so,
Anything else?
no, so what we'll, so we need to look at our, meeting schedule, and so we will schedule the next meeting on July the 13th. That will be after the, so we'll be able to see, how much money we need to appropriate.
And we're gonna check on that, change order at Osceola and the
Yes,
appropriation,
and get
or at
a-
least the commitment and dedication of the sales tax money,
That's correct, yes.
Interest.
interest off the
Yes,
sales tax
and
money.
we'll compare that to the budget. I just saw that yesterday, but like I said, I wanted to bring it to your attention so that we could all start thinking about where we are and how much money has been appropriated and how much is left.
Just one thing I was gonna ask y'all before, have y'all been contacted? Apparently the Chamber of Libel is wanting to do a tour the second or third week of July with the Cold War.
It's the Cold War
Museum-
Committee that told me,
Museum.
yeah.
Yeah, the committee of the chamber called it.
I missed a call this morning,
They
Mr.
want to
Carl
get
and
us
I
all
met.
Yeah, that's-
together to talk about that, so, and look at that. So, just,
Be next week, the week after, sounds like.
You
probably
know, he
the
was
week
saying like
after.
the 15th or the 16th of July is what he was saying.
And
He
he's
was-
trying to look at a Friday, because that was the only day that Dr. Cole could get off. He said it takes probably about 2 hours.
Really? Take that long?
Well, he said a max of 2 hours.
Yeah, cause he's gonna take us through the completed exhibition building and then also take us out to the, alert pad for the, this visionary, for their vision for what they wanna
If
do.
you didn't get a call, just be expecting.
I did, I just gotta call him back. Been a busy day.
All right,